Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of laws of exponents. This is standard A.11B in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 35 off the 2021 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we've got these two expressions that are being multiplied by each other. We need to find an equivalent expression. It says A, B, and C are defined. That simply means they're not going to be 0. Because if any of A, B, or C end up in the denominator of a fraction and it becomes 0, then you divide by 0, that becomes undefined, and just weird things happen. So let's look at our laws of exponents. Let's start with this one. So this is probably going to be the most helpful, the product of powers, right? And so what this says is if you take two bases that are the same, so the base is this big number right here, so a to the m power times a to the n power, what you could do is you could just take that base, since they're the same, and you can end up adding those two exponents. So the product of powers is you simply add those two. So here's what I'm looking for. We're multiplying everything up here, right? So this is what I want to do, is let's separate everything out. Watch, we can literally separate it out like this. A to the 0, B to the 2nd, C to the 34th, that's pretty big, times 3, times A to the 16th, times B to the negative 29th. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Times C to the 0. All right, even though they squished it into two big chunks, we can divide everything up into individual terms. And what I'm looking for are like terms. Okay, I'm looking for things that are similar. So I could take that 3 and that 15, and I can multiply them. Right? That's going to be easy. I can take my A's. I've got an A here, and I've got an A here. So A to the 0. And then A to the 16. Now let's take my B's. I've got my B and my B. B to the 2nd, B to the negative 29, and then my C. Okay, I've got my C to the 34, and then C to the 0. All right, now I've rearranged things, but now things are going to make a little bit more sense, okay? So 3 times 15, right, that's going to be 45, right? And so, look, I can already get rid of A and C, because look what they did. They just added 3 plus 15. Come on, we're multiplying. So product of powers, this is going to be A, and then I just take my two exponents, 0 plus 16, right? Take my B, so this is going to be 2 plus negative 29. And then this is going to be C, 34 plus 0. All right, so how does that simplify? Well, it looks like it's going to be 45, A to the 16th, B to the 2 plus negative 29. It's going to be negative 27. And then C to the 34. Now, let's talk about that right there. So what happens when we have a negative exponent? So in this case, we might look at A to the negative n power. Both of these are on your mathematics shorty reference materials. That's just going to be equal to the reciprocal. Okay, you take your A to the n, but you put it in the denominator. You just flip and take the reciprocal. So the only thing I need to do is I need to move that B to the 27th down below. So I'm going to leave my 45. My A to the 16 is good. My C to the 34 is good. I'm going to end up taking my B to the 27 and just move it down to the reciprocal, to the denominator of a fraction. And so that is going to, these two expressions are equal. So my answer here is going to be D.